Okay, so I've got to be honest, we are so close to getting this bike finished, but it is frustrating the hell out of me. And that's because I can get the engine to fire over once, but then it completely stops. So we've already isolated that it's probably not the lean angle sensor because we switched it out with the V4S lean angle sensor, and that made no difference. What I think it might be is actually the oil pressure sensor, and then as soon as you fire it once, it's telling the engine there's no oil pressure, and that is located all the way down here on the front of the engine. And that is not exactly easy to get to when you've got big fat fingers. So what we're gonna do is, in the very first part of this video, I'm gonna try and bypass it. So an oil pressure sensor on a RSV4 looks like this. And all I should need to do is get the connecting cable and ground it straight to the frame, to something like this point here. And if that all goes well, we can just bang on with the rest of the build and get this done in the required time. Now I have also cheated, so at the start of this video we had 18 hours left. I'd spent roughly an hour on the front and rear carbon. So I redid the carbon and gave that a nice gloss clear. And I also redid the exhaust. So I put a nice new Acro sticker on it. That's actually a metal back sticker, so it's a heat proof sticker. And then gave it 3 coats of high heat gloss clear. So that looks a whole lot better. So we're actually down to, I think, around about 16 and a half hours left. And that's not much time for me to do all the paint job, finish off all the little other pieces that we've got for this bike, and get it track ready. So I've just started off. I've made this little extension here, copper wire. It's pretty thick wire, and it's just got a little clip on the end. I should be able to push that into the end of the actual sensor, and then connect it to a point on the frame, and that should bypass the sensor itself. I won't run it like that for too long, because if I know that's the problem, I'll order a new sensor, $40, slide it in, drain the oil, slide it in, put the new oil back in it, and then that'll be fixed. So fingers crossed this fixes it. Let's give it a go. I really hope this works. Okay, power's on. Oh, nothing. Still got nothing. Maybe it's an ignition sensor. Let's try it again. Hasn't done a single thing. So I put the idea of actually getting this bike running on ice for a little bit. I can actually prep everything else ready for paint. So I've got the bike all wrapped up, just like that. Just like a $1 wrap job with the plastic sheet, and I've just got to fix up the tank. Where's my hand? There. I was going to fix up the actual, mask that off as well so I don't paint that white. Oops, I have just dropped my hint as to what I'm doing. So next up, what I'm going to do is just a wet rag, nice clean wet rag. I'm just going to go over the entire fairing, spray it all down with water and give it a good clean, and then we are going to hit it with a base coat. And I might have mentioned this in an earlier video, but we are doing an Italian themed bike for an Italian bike. And the inspiration actually came from the latest test at Misano, and it was, no, not Misano, and it was Andrea Iannoni's bike, even though it's a Ducati. And he basically had some really cool Italian theming on it. So I've got this, which is the first time I've ever painted with this, and this is pearl white. So you've actually got to paint, you've got to paint 2 coats, so, well, multiple coats. You've got to paint multiple coats of your base coat, white, and then multiple coats of your top coat, pearl. And I'll open this in a minute and show you, but it looks like snot. It just looks weird. Anyway, it's kind of cool. So first time I've ever painted with that, and we'll see how we go, because we may well use some of this as well, which is Italian green from the Italian green flag. And we've also got Italian red as well, which is Monza red. And we might do Italian striping down the bike, but we're gonna see how we go for time and whether or not this pearl actually looks any good. So yeah, let's get it mixed up. Let's get these fairings cleaned, and I am a little bit nervous of painting with pearl. It was the first time for everything, and I guess I've just got to dive right in. This is also a bit of a test dummy run for something else I'm doing later. for maybe another build I'm working on, hint hint. So hopefully this all goes well. Yeah, let's get into it. So I've got different scales here and I don't actually know if they're going to work because my little scales from last time are accidentally completely destroyed. Look at that, completely covered in clear coat, and now they don't work. So I'm going to go back to Kmart or Target, $2, whatever it was. Okay, so this mix is different to the old mix. This is actually 1:2, so, or 50-50, so 33% paint and then 66% thinners. So this is going to be interesting to see if I can actually make this work and whether or not the scales even start to show a value. Okay, 23. So let's go 20, let's go 30, and we'll take it to 90. Okay, there's 30. Now, thinners up to 90. I think that might be too much. I think let's go like 80 or 75 maybe. Let's try 70. Let's try 77. Give it a good stir. See, that's pretty thin, man. Like, that is super thin. If I went any thinner than that, that would be too thin. Even that looks quite thin. It's very watery. I don't know if I'm going to get it wrong. That's what I've been told. I have just had to go to sleep and think on this because I've just had a major screw up. Yeah, I was painting, everything was going well, and then all of a sudden I started to get some peeling, and then this happened. Have you ever seen something that bad? I just don't know what on earth it is. So I think it's got to be something to do with the paint mixture or the amount of air that I was using. Maybe not quite enough air, a little bit too much paint. The paint was too thin maybe, because it actually looks fine on the bare plastic that I painted. This came up really well until a bug landed on it, and then I got really pissed off at myself and made a boo-boo of that. So it's back to square one. I've just wasted, I think, another 2.5, 3 hours. I think I'm down to 14 hours left, and I've pretty much got to start from scratch again on this paint job. So luckily I have a different type of paint. Instead of being a 1:2 mixture, I've got a 2:1 mixture that I had actually bought some time ago. And it's exactly the same. It's a white pearl. It's just a different type of automotive paint, which I think is going to be better anyway because it was more expensive. I was going to use it on another bike, but I will just use it on this bike and see how we go. I mean, overall, just the tone of the white looks really cool. It's definitely got a little bit of grey in it, and once I put the pearl over the top, it's going to look pretty sick. I've got the same issue here where I'm starting to get some, I think you call it orange peel, on some of these parts as well, but other than that, it's actually looking like it's relatively smooth. I did come up with a couple of little issues that need to be sanded down, so it's a good thing that almost I did make this stuff up, because now I can go and sand these issues down. Geez, I sound like I need sleep, and I probably do. Right, so I'm gonna get to sanding. I'm gonna sand these down a little bit now, give them another clean, give them a wipe down, and then mix up some new paint and do it all over again. Now I'm just gonna grab some primer filler, and I'm just gonna go over it all, spot touch up those primer filler areas, sand the primer filler down with a bit of wet sandpaper, and then we should be okay to put some new white base down. Okay, so I look like I've been through a hurricane. Much better result. Always wear your mask too, guys. But check this out. So look at that. Now, like way smoother, almost no bubbling at all. Much better. So now, for the first time ever, and I've never done this, obviously for the first time ever, I'm gonna do a pearl top coat. So I've just mixed it up, and take a look at it. Look at it, it looks, oh, it's like shiny, it's all weird. So I've just mixed that up. I might just give that top coat maybe another 5 minutes to dry, and then let's get to it. Okay, that is a massive difference. I'm actually like pretty stoked with that. Look at that. How freaking cool does that look? You know, pearl white. I haven't even put the clear on it yet. I'm not sure if I'll go gloss or satin. I've got both. The tank look heaps better. So it's just a nice sheen to it, I guess. So we've still got the stickers and stuff to go on. I've still got a little bit of red. I'm thinking maybe red or Italian green. I was gonna do an Italian flag straight down the middle, but now Little Me just wants to leave it, maybe not, maybe just a green stripe. I'm not quite sure. I don't know, green, white and red would sort of make, you know, the Italian flag, so maybe just a green stripe straight down the middle. So we might do that. Yeah, let this dry for a little bit, come back and sand it, put some color into it, and get out of these fumes. not gonna believe it. I've got green overspray everywhere and I thought I did such a good job. Look, it's just quite literally everywhere and there's no chance that's all gonna come off. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Look how green it is. Shit. Oh man. All of that hard work, gone. Just wasted. Hours and hours and hours. Man. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I just don't. Do I leave it? Do I just try and sand it off? Far out. Look at this. See, it's all down here. All of this just here, all overspray. I think it sort of comes off a little bit just by rubbing it. So hopefully a bit of a rub and a sand and it might come off, but I'm not supposed to sand pearl, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Check it out, all completely glossed. It still needs a wet sand, but I'm gonna do it once it gets on the bike. So there we go, a nice little bit of green. I've got rid of most of the overspray, and I've also got a can of touch-up, so I'm gonna do some touch-up a little bit later on. But I think it's come out pretty cool. So we're gonna go ahead and actually put it on the bike now, and yeah. Fingers crossed we can actually get it to sit right on the bike, and fingers crossed in about half an hour or an hour we should actually have a bike that looks like it's almost complete, and then we're just going to fix the engine issue and we're up and running, baby. So yeah. Not quite going to plan, because see this gap just here? That's actually meaning that I can't get the bottom lined up. And I think it's because the carbon ducts that I've got are just a little bit too long. So I might take the front back off, and then we might shave the carbon ducts down by sort of 5mm at the front, because I can feel under here, just under the nose, that they're actually still touching. So I'll show you what I mean. So just under here, I don't think there's enough space, like these are full on tight, for the carbon ducts to actually allow the fairing to go back far enough. Okay, you can see just there where it's just rubbing. See that little rub mark right there? So I think if I just sort of take 5mm off the edge the whole way around, that'll just loosen it right up, and it should just actually slide further on. Okay, so it's finally all fitted. Now I've got the screen on, which I probably should have cleaned a bit first, because now I can't get my rag down to clean it. How good does that look? That looks absolutely sick. Now we've still got a surprise coming for just here. So we've still got bugger, I'll just tell you. We've got carbon wings coming for here, so we're gonna have to take this off again, but it looks like I have fixed that gap issue on both sides. So I've fixed that gap issue on both sides. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. There's some touch-ups I need to do. This is probably the worst paint job I've ever done. But yeah, so now I think we're probably in a position where we can wet sand it. So I'm gonna wet sand it now and then put the tank pads on, whole bunch of other stuff. Let's get cracking.
Out here on the streets, I'm losing my way. You've gotten to me, and that's my mistake. Some might say I can't get too far without seeing your face. Oh. You gave me your heart and took it away. I'm going underground, till your loving comes around, going underground, 'cause your love is not around anymore, going underground, yeah, going underground,
So not a bad effort for today. Unfortunately, we still couldn't get the bike started, but luckily I'm gonna drop it to a friend of mine who can put it against the diagnostic tool and see if it's just as simple as one of the relays. I don't have the tools here myself, so no point beating around the bush. I'll just get someone else to plug it in, check it. Fingers crossed we'll get a real quick alert that just says maybe it's like the ignition relay or something like that. But it's looking pretty good. So we've still got to do the carbon wings when they get here. So we'll take the front off again, put the carbon wings on. Not sure if we're going to tune it, but we'll see what the horsepower is on the dyno anyway, and then get it on track. So this is my personal track bike. It's not going to be sold unless someone offers me a ridiculous amount of money. And it is looking smoking hot. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, you know the drill.